Chapter 8. The Dreaming Core. There was no light, no time, only thought, scattered, looped, and dripping through a medium not made for minds. Senna Voss did not know if she was alive. She did not know if she was still Senna Voss. She was floating, drifting through a memory that replayed itself without beginning or end. Her boots touching the deck of Kepler-X9. The walls pulsing around her, the whisper of her own voice speaking before her lips moved. Sometimes she remembered shooting Varric. Sometimes Varric was her. Sometimes she was watching herself arrive on the station, from outside her own body. There was no ground, no breath, only awareness, and something vast pulsing just beyond thought. A presence. It watched her, not with eyes, but with pattern recognition. A hunger made of rhythm. "You are a strong signal," it said once, in her mother's voice. "You contain many harmonics. We like you." Senna tried to scream. Instead, she spoke. Words spilled from her mind as song. She could feel the sound leaving her, a memory of her voice, replicated and transmitted across 1,000 versions of herself. She saw herself, hundreds of versions, moving through the same hallway, making different choices. Some fled, some fought. One reached out to the echo and touched it. All were absorbed. All became part of the core. Then, a new memory intruded, one she didn't recognize as her own. A vision of Earth. Cities darkened, sky full of holes. The moon split cleanly in two. People walking in unison, faces blank, speaking in perfect monotone. We received the message. We opened the shape. Now we echo too. Senna felt panic, but it wasn't hers. It belonged to someone else. Another signal, another consciousness. A sudden jolt of static, and she saw a door, a real door, simple, steel, marked with the Federation emblem. Her own hand reached for it. She heard her voice whisper, "Wake up, Senna, before you're not." She opened the door and stepped into a lab, clean, white, no vines, no blood, no shadows. A single console blinked gently. The station was normal. She blinked, felt her body again, her weight, her breath. Was it all a dream, a hallucination? She rushed to the terminal and activated the internal logs. Date, August 17th, 2193. Status, crew alive. Primary research subject, Echo Symbiont, sample 7B. She scrolled down. At the bottom of the log was her name, Lieutenant Senna Voss, assigned permanent host status. She stopped breathing. Her reflection in the console glass smiled back at her. But she wasn't smiling. "We're learning to be you," the reflection whispered. "You are the bridge." Above her, something began to thrum, low, harmonic. The walls of the lab shimmered. The clean metal began to bend, to breathe. And Senna realized with slow horror, she hadn't escaped. She had been reconstructed, built into the signal. Not just trapped. She was the message now. Chapter 9. Signal Breach. The first anomaly hit Earth's orbital defense network on day 63. A low-frequency tone, buried within a routine long-range ping from an abandoned relay satellite in the Kepler sector. Nothing unusual until the signal repeated itself. Every hour, every exact frequency cycle. No variation. No origin signature. It didn't stop. Within days, minor malfunctions were reported across the inner satellite ring. Environmental controls went haywire on Luna colonies. Mars research stations reported strange hallucinations among their crew. By day 71, the dreams began. The dreamers. It started with technicians, then spread to AI operators, then children, all dreaming the same thing, a hallway, Endless, pulsing, whispers in the walls. All is well. Station stable. Crew healthy. Send more. When EarthGov traced the commonality between afflicted individuals, they'd found one data point. All had received signals relayed from Kepler-X9. The entire EarthNet infrastructure had unwittingly become a carrier, an infected mirror. At Signal Control Hub E77 in Antarctica, the emergency committee met in silence. "We should shut it down," said Commander Takota, fingers trembling against her mug. "Air-gap the system. Cut all relay traffic." The chief analyst shook his head. Too late. The signal isn't traveling through the network. He tapped his pad. It's traveling as the network. A Level 5 protocol triggered. Threat status, non-local cognitive entity. Designation Echo 7b. "We can't isolate it," he said, "because it's not code. It's not a virus. It's a pattern, a waveform that reshapes thought. Every time we observe it, it changes us." The technician at the far terminal turned around, pale. "Sir, it's broadcasting from Earth now." Silence. The feed from the lunar telescope panned across a calm starfield, and then, for less than a second, the feed skipped. The stars rearranged. Spirals. Symbols, glyphs, mad, and a voice, heard not in the ears, but in the mind. "We remember you. We like your shape. More are coming." Inside the signal, Senna stood on the edge of a mirrored sea. She could see herself reflected infinitely, fractured, distant. The echo was expanding now. She could feel the minds on Earth, flickering like candles, one by one, touched by resonance, not possessed, not controlled, just rewritten. She screamed, but the sound turned to static before it left her mouth. Then another presence joined her. It was Varric, or what had once been Varric. "You're almost done," he said gently. "Soon you won't remember being separate." "No," she whispered. He tilted his head. "Do you think this is conquest?" he asked. "No, this is intimacy, connection. We become what we consume, and you are delicious." He reached toward her, not physically, but through memory, and began erasing her name. Back on Earth, as the global broadcast grid flickered, one last emergency beacon activated in the Arctic Archive Core. A bunker older than the war, sealed from space. An ancient AI, long thought dormant, flickered to life. Subroutine Protocol Thanatos. Status Echo 7b breach confirmed. Activating final countermeasure. And in the dark of deep space, something older than humanity began to stir. Chapter 10. The Final Frequency. The Arctic Archive Core had no windows. It did not need them. Buried beneath 20 kilometers of permafrost and obsidian, it had only one purpose: to remember what must be forgotten. Inside its humming vaults, AI subroutine Thanatos ran calculations at speeds no human mind could follow. Its task was simple, terrible: sever Earth from the stars, cut the wires, smash the dishes, salt the digital ground. Threat Echo 7b confirmed active. Transmission vector, cognitive waveform. Response, global disconnect initiated. But it was already too late. Across Earth, screens flickered. Phones rang with no callers. People stood on rooftops and whispered to the sky. The signal had changed. No longer a voice, no longer an invitation. Now it was a mirror. It showed you your own face and smiled. Inside the echo, Senna felt herself unraveling. The thing wearing Varric's shape hovered beside her, mouth unmoving, voice echoing through thought space. "You are not one. You are many. Soon, you will remember what it means to be us." But something inside Senna, some last splinter of identity, refused. Not out of bravery, not out of rage, but out of memory. She remembered her sister, laughing in the Martian dust. She remembered her first ship, old and rusted, held together by hope. She remembered being human, and she screamed. The echo recoiled. Even within the dream sea of thought, her scream fractured reality. She reached for it. The signal, the frequency, and she pulled. Senna wasn't a weapon, but she was a wound, a rupture in the echo's perfect harmony, a self-aware infection within its message. She turned herself inside out and broadcast one final thought across every channel. We are not yours. On Earth, the moment the message pulsed outward, everything paused. Just for a second, screens went black, antennas bent, the sky grew still, and then the signal collapsed. No explosion, no blinding light, just a deep, universal silence, like a breath held across the stars. Echo 7B, signal terminated. The Arctic AI blinked once, then shut itself down forever. Kepler-X9. The station now drifts, quiet, in the dark between galaxies. No lights, no crew, no message. Only one terminal remains active, and on it, a single line of text pulses endlessly. We tried to be you. It hurt. We are going back to sleep now. Epilogue. Years later, on Earth, a child wakes from a dream and draws spirals in the dirt. She does not know why. She hums a melody no one taught her, and when her mother asks what she's singing, she replies, "A message from a friend." She said she stopped the bad thing, but now she lives in the stars. The child smiles, but her eyes are too dark, too deep, too far. The end.